Right, here we go, guys. We are going to be doing a Terran Gold 1 coaching session. Now, why am I kind of introducing it like this for you guys watching on Twitch? It's because I might put this on YouTube. So if I do put it on YouTube, I would like there to be a little bit of an introduction there, just so, you know, people watching can do that. And that also makes it easy for me to find where I should cut the VOD from. So Stimsack is a Gold 1 player in our first session. We talked about mechanics, you know, spending his money more effectively, control grouping his units more effectively. I showed him how to use the control group stealing, and he's been practicing his mechanics for a little over a week since our last coaching session. So now here, we're in our second coaching session, and I'm going to be looking to see how I can help him in terms of looking for the biggest things to improve on. So let's just put it on his camera. While we coach, I will be tabbing out and writing notes half the time. So, key fundamental areas to improve on across all matchups. He's doing a 2-1-1 in all matchups because it's a reasonably well-rounded build for all three matchups. We don't really care exactly about the exact opening past like the first 3.5 minutes or something like that. We want it to be exact in the beginning phase because, hell, it's, you know, the same build order you're going to be doing every game. You should know how to do it well. We see there, nice fast second barracks, should be dropping a mule, restarting SCV production. Wait, oh, what's he doing? Why are you building a depot right now? Okay, so he's already not doing the build order properly. So straight off the bat, we can say build refinement. You don't need your depot so fast. You can drop it on 22. It should be
our SCVs are under attack.
Second racks. SCV production restarts because orbital finishes. Plus drop mule. Reactor. Second depot. Factory. And then second gas. So that's a basic order which he should be able to follow if he's doing every game. So that's something we can harp on about. We can say, whoa, you're not even doing your build order properly. You should always be able to follow at least your first 3-4 minutes of the game super exact. Past that point, everything becomes a bit more flexible. There is more reacting that has to be done, and so on and so forth. So Reaper's going to come in here, have a little bit of a harass, sees a Baneling Nest. I'm not sure if he clicked on the Baneling Nest. I actually am pretty convinced he didn't. I'm not sure why he's in here for so long. Maybe he doesn't know the map, because he just... he rallied that Reaper to its death. That's alright, that happens. Sometimes you're not really thinking about what map you're on, and you're just kind of like, yeah, my Reaper can go out of the base that way. And you're like, no, actually he can't. Okay, so we're going to look at some general notes. Can you hear me? Please tell me you're not listening to the stream, Gabe.
Add-on complete.
That's a massive distraction if you are. So this is game 1.
Add-on complete.
Proxima. And in the general notes, Reaper stayed in there a bit long. Should have just been checking for a third.
Add-on complete.
So we should talk to him after this about what do you look for with that Reaper? And did you click on the Baneling Nest? Because I need to talk about his understanding of what he's doing with the early Reaper, because that can be important. So let's take a look at the rest of the build order. His medevacs haven't started yet. He's only got 6 Marines out, so he's been far from consistent in his spending. Focused way too much on that Reaper, and even though he's put an SCV out, he hasn't put it out front of the base where it should be. He's put it out in this random spot in the middle of the map. And he's building depots down on the low ground, which is really confusing, and he hasn't finished his wall off. So I'm super confused about exactly why he's making all these odd decisions right now. What's going on? He's got all this money. What's he been so distracted by? Yeah. Definitely just seems like a lack of refinement and focusing on the correct things. So Medevacs and Marines were very late this game. Medevacs and Marines were very late.
Ready for dust off.
Mismacroed quite bad when spending too much APM and attention on that Reaper. Now, I'm fine for him to just go for a big 2-base like 5-rack Spire tank follow-up, but his medevacs should be hitting no later than 6 minutes, even if you're Gold League, because if you're in Diamond League, you can hit at the same time a Pro hits, 5 minutes 20. If you're in Gold, 40 seconds later, you should be over there. That's more than enough time. And very quickly, with just a bit of refinement of your build order, you can be there even faster than that. And you can get closer and closer to that Pro timing. But what we're going to see here is he doesn't move out with that standard medevac timing, which is a big problem. Now, I like that he does seem to have a depot builder here. I'm kind of watching what he's doing right now. I'm not sure.
Ready for dust off.
Like, I'm on his camera right now, guys. He just spent a lot of time staring at his army for no reason.
SCV ready.
What's he doing? Why is he scanning? Yeah, so what's happening here is he's not following his basic game plan. One of the most important things to do, or maybe he did realize, maybe he saw the Zerglings on the map, so he was waiting for this. But yeah, massive miss macro during all this, and now he's trying to do fancy pickup stuff.
SCV ready.
Only now does he start macroing off these hotkeys. Okay. Yeah. No wall. Question mark? There always needs to be a wall. No reason to build depots exposed on the low ground. I guess you felt he was going to attack after your SCV died? Why? Did you see something special? That's something I need to actually talk to him about. Because after this, you miss macroed, staring at your army for about a minute. Only building depots, and not much else.
Ready for dust off.
He's built a lot of SCVs. If you can transfer these down to his third, that'll be nice. So SCV production's definitely improved a hell of a lot. But yeah, it does seem to lack a little bit of comfort. And didn't really, use his pressure at all. Even just sending the 2 medevacs out across the map and, just check what your opponent's doing. Lift them up, bring them home would have been fine. But yeah. He keeps scanning as well. I don't know why he keeps scanning. Like... Why so many scans? You're too... I think you're too paranoid. You're overthinking what could be happening in the game. You need to focus a little bit more just on your own plan.
Command center upgrade.
Your own solid plan. Most of the time, it's about maneuvering or microing a bit different. 1 to 2 big adjustments throughout a game. You don't need to scan every 30 seconds. You will have built-in pressure to see what's going on. Rather than worrying about muters, just build turrets at, let's say 9 minutes every game. 1 in each mineral line. Focus on pushing hard and consistently. If you want to macro up and play very turtly, you need to get double upgrades, and a faster third CC. Then go up to 5 racks. So basically, as it got later, your macro improved tremendously from what it was previously in terms of unit production and SCV production. However,
SCV ready.
Mineral field depleted.
Gangway coming through.
however, you didn't have upgrades.
Mineral field depleted. Mineral field depleted.
Only +1 bioweapons. So all that macro wasn't worth as much as it should have been. With your big push, let's watch how he does this. Pre-spread, 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 pre-spread. No, and then he stimmed his whole army. Yeah, really bad micro. So, you need to pre-spread well ahead of time and only use your hotkey to stim, nothing else. If you simply have a good spread and stim when he attacks in, you will do much better. Alternatively, you can really work on your marine splits, your box click micro, which is all micro, but especially splitting, which is the technique for, I should say. A great map is the arcade marine split. I think it's like marine split challenge or something like that. Yeah, something like that. But yeah. Oh, I was warning him about factories always needing 2 spaces next to them.
Ready to blunder.
So yeah, we saw there that his building placement was off.
Vespine geyser. Mineral field depleted.
Factory wasn't placed correctly. Needs to be on the edge of the production with extra space around its row.
SCV ready.
So with his production, it's not too bad for barracks, but the factory like should be in this row, and this row should be 2 spaces to the left, so there's plenty of space on either side for the tanks to move around. That would make a big difference. Your 0-cent coaching, build more barracks, dude. He has plenty of barracks. He has 8 barracks. He has too many reactors, though. That is definitely something. Okay, so that's something we should point out as well.
SCV ready. Who wants some?
Your extra 3 barracks to take you up to 8 should be a few tech labs and at most 1 reactor.
Mineral field.
You need more marauders as the game goes on. They absorb banelings, slow down enemy units, and do well versus ultras. SCV count was way too high this game.
Get me out of this mess.
Did I make myself a ref?
Ready for dust off.
Queued up, ready to go. SCV ready.
Stop building SCVs. Way too many. Just transfer.
SCV ready.
Yeah, he's got 41 SCVs on this base. Oh my god. 90 SCVs right now. Holy shit.
SCV ready.
And he's doing a good job of just practicing spending, but like what we want to do is we really want to have him practice his first few minutes of the game and then practice and then push. Macro up and push. Macro up and pressure. So what he's doing here is just kind of camping. He's just sitting there and he's not really interacting with his opponent at all.
Is under attack.
And I think that's a big part of why he's kind of I feel like there's just no confidence in him just doing his own thing. Like he's just kind of constantly scanning his opponent, you know, worried about what he's going to be doing all game. That was really good actually, that Ferex killed off his workers, so now he can max out properly. But yeah, he's going to have to go all in and push because he doesn't have the mechanics to recover from these mutas. The thing is, Ferex like doesn't have any Lings and Banes right now, even though he's got 1 billion money. So Ferex would actually die to him just stimming and A moving across the map. But Ferex is now making 76 circlings, so yeah, he'll get there. And it's still 1-1 bio, which is a huge problem. How do I dumb this down, guys? What do I talk about when this game is over? What are the most important points? What are the cliff notes? So most important things. I think we need to... We need to get him aggressive. So what we're going to do is we're going to refine the opening. That's going to be the most important thing. Hit the 2-1-1 medevac marine pressure. Doesn't need to do huge damage. Can just go in, and if they have too much, just pick up and leave. That's fine. Oh, rat. Barracks rolls in. GG's. Oof. That game went way longer than I would recommend most people letting the game go to. But it's good practice in some ways at the same time. All right, GG's, well played. How do you feel about that game?
No, not good.
Was it...
I feel like I was nervous, and I feel like I was doing a lot of stupid shit.
All right, so you weren't really in your groove that game. That's cool. It's the first proper game we've played today. You definitely kind of felt very paranoid that game. You were scanning a lot. You felt very worried. You know, you didn't seem to have your rhythm. You didn't seem like... To me, it just felt like you weren't too confident in that game. Now, part of that could just be it's just a bad game. Sometimes we all have bad games. Part of it is probably also maybe not understanding certain situations. So what are the main things we need to focus on going into the next game? I don't want to spend too long talking about it. You can watch the replays after, and you can go through all the notes. Okay, so the first thing is refining the opening. So a little bit more consistent marine production. In terms of your build order, you still built your depot too fast. So yes, you got it after your second barracks, but you hadn't built your reactor yet. You were on like 20 supply. You hadn't restarted SCV production. So your depot doesn't need to go down till 22 supply. So that's all you need to remember in the opening. The rest of the build was fine, but that goes on 22. And the other thing that screwed you up was you stared at your Reaper for a long time. And because of that, you weren't macroing at home. And there was no reason to be staring at the Reaper for so long. Just check if there's a third base. Okay. Don't focus too much on your scouting. You know, what you want to do, right, is you finish doing a bunch of macro things. You go build SCVs, build mules, queue up some Marines. Okay, factory and starport are building. I've got a bit of APM, right? Like 10, 15 seconds before I need to do anything else. Let's go micro that Reaper. It goes in, sees, oh, there's a third base going down, or oh, there's a Baneling nest going down. Okay, send it home or let it die or whatever, and go back to macroing. So really just trying to get in that flow of just put a very few seconds towards your Reaper. Don't focus on it. And make sure you keep building those Marines, get the medevacs out, and always, with your first 16 Marines and medevacs, I want you to push out. You don't necessarily need to drop with them. You can just walk them across the map. But you always want to push over to your opponent's territory. And as they get close to your opponent's base, you want to say, okay, let's spend 30 seconds just watching these guys. Let's go in, use our stim. If there's too many units, we can just pick up and run away. We can back off. That's fine. And we can go back to macroing. If there's no defense, you just run in and you kill a bunch of stuff, maybe micro it up to 30 seconds or maybe even a minute if things are going really well. And as soon as that gets cleaned up or is getting defended, you just bring whatever you can home and go straight back to macro. But just think about what I'm talking about here is there's two key points in the game early on where you need to look away from your base and you need to then figure out when you want to look away from your base. And this is something you'll get better and better at as you get more experience, but it's basically when do I look at my Reaper and when do I look at my medevacs and Marines? And you do it around your macro. So whenever you complete a whole bunch of macro tasks, SCVs, mules, queue up units, queue up a depot, that's when you've got a few seconds to go, bam, okay, go to my army, let's look around. And it doesn't matter if you suck at it the first few games, because you're you're thinking about your macro, you're like, oh, I should go back and do some macro, and then your units die at the front, because it's actually more important to build more stuff than it is to micro your stuff at the moment. And as you get more practice, you'll refine when you should be looking at the front and when you should be looking at the back. So all we're going to focus on this game is just make sure the opening's a little bit tighter. Make sure we don't stare at our units on the map a little bit too much, but we are going to move out with the first 2 medevacs and our Marines, do a little bit of pressure. What about beyond that? That game, you built 1 billion bases, you sat back, you macroed for hours. This time, I want you to be more decisive. We're going to actually do a 2-base push. So same sort of build order, go up to 5 barracks, start building siege tanks or widow mines or whatever you prefer. And you're just going to aim for a really big push off 2 bases. So this way, it's still hard to macro that. Don't get me wrong. I miss macro when I do this push all the time. But it's going to make your focus a lot more defined. You know, you're trying to end the game in the first 10 minutes. You want to push probably about 8 minutes ideal, but if it happens at 10 minutes, that's fine. You want to get over there, bunch of tanks or widow mines, bunch of buyer, and you want to kill your opponent on 2 base. So we're really just going to focus on this stage of the game for now. And I think this is really going to help you become a lot more decisive.
Okay.
Awesome.
I'm down.
All right. So we're going to host up the same map, just get a bit of continuity going. And we will hop on in. All right, Ferex is up there. I think you guys are a good match for each other.
Yeah.
I think from that first game, you know, things were pretty close. Just going to invite literally everyone in the channel in. Whoever gets in 10 seconds is allowed to watch. Okay, they are. Good luck, have fun, guys. Great Cream 1. Good luck, have fun. All right, so just remember, tighten up the build order a little bit. Don't stare at your units too long, but get over there, do a little bit of pressure with your first 2 medevacs, and follow up with a 2-base all-in. Even if you feel like things aren't going well, just try to spend all your money on 2 bases and just keep going with those pushes, and it should be all good, man. So I'm going to keep you on the line this time. I'll just turn the volume down a little bit, so that's fine. But I will mute myself. And good luck. Have fun.
Cool.
Sick. Get in your rhythm, man. Good luck. Kick some ass.
All right.
All right. So think about all the dozens and dozens of things I was talking about that went wrong in that game, guys. Notice the real challenge for me here. The challenge was trying to break that down into, wait a second, what's the most important thing to focus on? Now I've turned his volume way down. Still sounds a little bit loud, so I'm not sure if that even did anything, because Skype's a really weird app, but it sounds a little bit better. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, basically the big thing here is really focusing on that. You know, getting that rhythm down and so on and so forth. I mean, Nuglets, there's no need to be judgmental of someone choosing to get coaching. If you think about it, it's the same. There's beginners that get coaching at everything. And gold is actually pretty far from beginner if you think about how deep that is in StarCraft. Yet, for some reason, you know, if someone is too lazy to just get a piano book and learn basic songs and goes and pays, you know, $50 an hour for lessons at that, everyone's just like, oh yeah, that's normal. But with video game coaching, people are like, oh, that's absurd. But if you think about it, that's just a cultural thing. You know, it's just this kind of very manufactured idea of what's normal. You're impressed? Okay, that's good. That's good. Just making sure. Because yeah, like the thing is, and it just makes you learn faster, right? Like you can go hunting through forums and watching lots of videos, but getting coaching from someone who's, you know, quite experienced at whatever competitive activity it is or skill, they're always going to be way better. Overgel says, Pig, is there a way to play passive bio Terran versus Zerg without getting owned by ultras? Yeah, sure. But I mean, I don't know why you would want to. It's like, why are you playing passive bio? Why not play mech? I think mech would be more fun. Check out today's daily. I was talking all about it. It's linked in chat. So, yeah, I don't know why you'd play defensive bio. Like, you can do it. You can go libs and ghosts, and you can do that. But it's kind of painstaking. It takes a lot of practice, man. A lot of practice. All right, so this time the SCV's continued. Let's hope he remembers that depot. Yeah, he does, right on time. That's like perfect timing. That's sexy. I'm so happy right now, guys. When you see progress, oh, feels so good. Opening was way better this time. Depot was right on 22. Uh-oh. I'm okay with him losing that. Oh my god, those lings just ran past, lol. He's gonna do a Zergling drop. Is he? No, his Zergling's just going to a really random point. That's cool. Okay. So he's got the factory on the way, the second gas. He's got to put dudes on the second gas. He's building an extra depot way ahead of time. I'm fine with that. I am completely fine with someone building their depots a little bit ahead of time. That I am cool with. He does have to remember to put on second gas, though. Doing really well so far. Just remember to put workers on that second gas. Other than that, your builder's been near perfect. Good job. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, dude.
Should build the starport before you build the reactor. Though, actually, maybe they take the same time. I think they do. But yeah, but then you've got to lift the starport onto the reactor, so it's better to build the starport first. That's cool. Doesn't make a big difference. Starport, then reactor, as it has to lift over. Minor tweak. He's been a bit better with his marine production this time around. He's building 2-3 marines. Yeah. This is so much better, guys. His opening this time is so sick. No, they're the exact same time, Zeos. They're both 36 seconds. Yeah, 36 seconds, actually. I checked. I was surprised as well. That's 50 hot seconds. Starport's quite a fast structure compared to a barracks. Barracks takes like 43 seconds or something. Let me check. Oh, it doesn't show up, damn. Anyway, that's cool. So let's check his hotkeys. He still hasn't hotkeyed his army. What's he doing selecting his army and not hotkeying it? So that's something he needs to work on. I see you often select your army and not hotkey it. That shows that it's not a habit and something you still need to think about. That's something to work on. Alright, so he's gonna go drop. And like I said, 6 minutes, guys. This should be way better. Okay. So he's building more barracks. He's got a lot of money. Alright, so you're doing really well. Just make sure you drop down, up to 5 barracks. And yeah, you're looking really good, man. And you're going to prepare for this big 2-base push. Remember, no 3rd base this time around. And when you get a chance, just, you know, queue up SCVs, drop mules, drop depots, and then focus your APM on this drop. Good luck. So he really does need to focus on that drop. He's just done some SCVs and mules there to make sure. Now he's going to stim and go in. And he picks up and just leave. He should not be dropping there. This is dumb. This is dumb. I'm not saying it to him yet. He didn't press stop. You gotta press stop to stop it dropping. When you try to run medevacs, you need to tap S to stop it dropping. When you first saw he had a horde of Ling Bane, you should know you can't do damage. Just come home with the drop. Your play wasn't bad, but the second drop achieved nothing. So, best to just learn to recognize when you should just go home. And even that small move there, guys, and really having his play focused now on this follow-up 2-base push. Look at his macro. He's disrupted the Zerg's rhythm just a little bit. Yeah, the Zerg's going insanely fast upgrade, so he does have to push before 2-2 or he'll die. But if he just goes across the map sometime soon, and he's got Stim, his combat shield is halfway done, his +1 will be done. If he can fight with +1 versus 1-1, couple tanks, whole bunch of Marines, like this is going to be a sick push. You're doing really well so far, so you do want to go with that big all-in push soon. Your +1 and your combat shields are getting close to done, so sometime in the next 30 seconds you want to start pushing out and you want to focus everything on microing this big attack and just rallying everything across the map. Good luck, man. Like, his play is seriously so much better this game, but I'm not going to tell him anything when he sets up, and if he doesn't spread his Marines out, there's a good chance he fucks up. However, I've been very clear about telling him, when you're attacking, watch that with your APM, stare at that, and so on and so forth. So he also needs to cut SCVs sooner at just 45 to 50 when you're doing a 2-base attack. You went to 60 plus this game. This is a good bad habit. Great for macro games, just need to adapt and adjust it. Now he should be scanning ahead of his army, but he doesn't. He's got energy. I don't know what he's doing here. What's he doing? What's he doing? Where's his tanks? Oh, he left his tanks sieged at home. Okay, so he's spreading his units out, but you could see he was really umming and ahhing with this push. Like, he's just, and then he groups it up. And the thing is, he doesn't have splits. He can't split. Yeah. Up to here, he played so well. And he still should win because he just has so much more stuff. Like, all he needs to do is stim an A move. And if he literally A moved all of his units, I think he might still win the game. Because Ferraz can't spend his money right now. And the thing is, like, he's pulling back. There's no need for this. Alright, wave 2, push across that map. Just unsiege your tanks, A-move it, don't be afraid. You're doing a 2-base all-in, you're the attacker. You need to go push him. You can throw some turrets down behind it, but do not macro behind this. You are all in. You've got to unsiege your tanks, and you've got to go across that map. This is the problem. He doesn't get focused on his goal in the game. You need all your army, bring everything. Use that select all army, throw them all into your hotkey. You can do this, man. Get across that map. You've got one big last push. I want you to pre-spread everything, and I want you to just stim your army, but do not A-move your army ever, because that keeps clumping up your Marines. Just spread your units as you get towards his base, scan ahead of your army, and do not A-move. Just stim once the fighting starts. You can do this. Spread, 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 spread. Look at that. Even there's 2-2 on the Ling Bane, but he should still win here. He's going to start a step on top. He's got to focus fire. Ah, what's he doing? He freaked out. Alright, I gotta write a note for that. We need to work on your splitting. Whenever you push, you seem to panic a little bit. Calmly spread. When he engages, 1 plus stim. Don't A-move. It ruins your pre-split. And now he is going to get overwhelmed. But that's fine. This was such a better game. Such a better game, seriously. Alright, he barely hung on there, so that's going to be that one. But you was very, very close to breaking him there. If you had the micro to focus down those morphing banelings, then you might have been able to make your way through. But he did have +2 carapace, so it was very hard.
Yeah.
All right, so we've gotten a lot of info. Now, what we need to do now is hop out of this game, and you literally played 4,000 times better that game than the first game. Like, I cannot emphasize enough, dude, that was, in some respects, diamond level play. You were doing something
Wow.
so well. And this is the effect of you practicing your mechanics the last week and you practicing this build order. Your opening was executed so much better. You did a good job of going to the drop, microing it a little bit, and then bringing it home and going back to macro. You were spending all your money. You got up tank production, 5 barracks, a single engineering bay upgrading. You were killing it, dude. You were
I felt
killing
good.
it.
I felt good that game.
It was awesome. It was so good. So I was so happy with that. And that is awesome. Like this makes me so happy because being able to just execute that opening that well and getting the rhythm of going and doing your aggression and then going back is great. So a couple of points in there. One is for now, in all your matchups, I want you to focus on this 2-base push. Going for like you want to kill your opponent on 2-base. If you drop a third behind the push, I'll allow it, but you're not focusing your APM on it because you have got your macro to a really nice level. Now, one thing you're going to need to remember this is to stop at 45 to 50 SCVs. You have developed the sickest SCV mechanic where you're just constantly building SCVs, and that's awesome. This is like the best problem you could possibly have is now just remembering to switch that off once you hit 2-base saturation. And obviously, later on, if you start doing macro play, you switch it off at 3-base saturation, right? Because that game you went up to like 60, 65 SCVs just on 2 bases. But yeah, you're doing well, and I want you to keep doing these sort of 2-base push in all matchups because it really gets your focus now on the next step. You have brought your macro way above your level with this opening when you're controlling the flow of things. Now we need to work on your micro, and that's really important with Terran. So I'm going to say to the guys watching, the guys who have helped us, I'm going to say a big thanks to them because we don't need them anymore, I don't think, because we've only got probably another 20 minutes or something. I'm not sure exactly, but I want to hop us into the Marine Split Challenge. I think I can observe that while you play it, I believe. I'll see. Thanks so much for the help, guys. Just watch the stream now. We're going to do some micro practice. Actually, we won't do the Marine Split Challenge, but what we will do, I guess I can get Ferax in as well, actually, if he wants. No, we don't need Ferax for the next step. I do want to say to Ferax, big thanks though, so I will just PM him and say, big thanks. Yeah, you guys should all add each other, so I'll say, y'all should add each other. Friends for prac later. I'm going to kick Ferax out of the group. Sorry, Ferax. Thank you for the help. Arcade. So right now, click arcade, and I want you to search arcade games, and I want you to search for Marine Split Challenge. Have you ever played that map?
Yeah, I tried playing it when I first got into the game, and it was like impossible.
Yeah. So you
tough.
might need to check out how however you're using your mouse. Lower or raise the sensitivity.
I lowered my
like
DPI from 1600 down to 700.
Okay, so that's a big change. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A lot of pros use around 600 to 800 is the most common in StarCraft. But yeah, if you need it to be slightly faster because you can't move your hand that fast to split, that's fine. A lot of pros in the early days used to use 2000 DPI. Over time, as we practice more, we realized we could be more consistent with lower DPI. But you can definitely, whatever works for you is best. But that's a map you can play on your own, Marine Split Challenge. For now, we're going to hop in the unit tester, which is LOTV unit tester. I'll host it up. So you just search for LOTV unit tester in arcade. And it should be a map made by Brandon. I'll create it now. Yeah, it's the first one that pops up. It's got 5-star average rating from 93 ratings. So,
wow.
Good map. We can just do whatever we want in it. So you can do this as well if you ever hop in with a practice partner or something like that. And let's talk a little bit about micro. Now, the main thing is boxing and clicking. Basically, that's what spreading Marines is. But it's the same with Zerg. It's the same with Protoss. Pretty much every situation, even if you're just trying to flank an opponent. And we'll put this on terrain fields. We've got a nice big area. Even if you're just trying to flank an opponent, it really does make a big difference. So, options. All right, so you're controlling red, I'm controlling blue. I'll give myself a whole bunch of Zerglings and Banelings. Okay, so I'm gonna just attack you with the Ling Bane. Just start spreading. Go. Start spreading. Alright. So you can see that basically the smaller, the more accurate, and the quicker that you can drag these boxes, the better you can do it. And this is something which it just takes practice, makes perfect. And like I said, I can't see your mouse and how fast it's moving on your monitor. I can't see your hand. So it might take a bit of experimenting on your own where you're like, this is just too hard with my current settings. I'm going to try it a bit faster. Oh, this is actually way easier now. So sitting in like Marine Split Challenge and trying out a few different settings and seeing what you like might also be nice. Just try not to go to 5,000 DPI or something crazy like that.
No, I'd like to change.
Yeah. So we'll, how do we reset? There we go. All right, start splitting, go. You want to just slice off those sections, keep spreading them out, keep spreading them out. Doing good, you're doing good. Keep spreading them. Just as once you're already spread, you start doing smaller and smaller sections. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Fantastic. Awesome. Awesome. Let's do that one more time. Start spreading, go, go, go. I'll give you just a little head start. It's all about muscle memory. Like many things in StarCraft, it's, you know, such a fast-paced game, especially when it comes to micro. It's something where you usually need to do it without thinking about it on the spot, because otherwise you kind of freeze up and panic, right, when you're trying to overthink things. Here we see a great split, and I love that sort of concave shape you've got as well to it, which is the ideal. And I think this is really useful for anyone watching the video or on the stream of this coaching session. You know, they're like, okay, this is actually what you want, because you want your enemy coming in here, so your Marines are still kind of shooting on the flanks, if possible. Obviously, your initial goal is just spread your shit out, but that's a bonus goal. So I'd love to see you paying attention to that. One more time, last time, just on this basic exercise. I'd say the number one problem Terran players have up to Platinum, and even all the way through Platinum, is just clumping their shit up in ZV2.
Yeah.
It really is, because it just makes such a big difference. And this is why whenever you push near creep, and you'll see me do this, I just spread everything out. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go into the options. I'm gonna take control of the Marines as well. You can still do it, so please don't touch them. But yeah, basically, as soon as I get near creep, I immediately will go like, okay. And I don't have godlike splits or anything like that. Definitely, you know, obviously I have played a lot. I definitely do have, you know, reasonably advanced micro, but I'm gonna do this. And what was often happening, so I just spread there, right? The Ling Bane comes in, and you know, all you need to do is stim, don't A move. Now, this is what you were doing in that first game, and this is what I see myself doing sometimes whenever I'm not feeling confident. I'm on the edge of creep. Okay.
Oh.
Let's kind of spread. Maybe I should go forward. Oh no, let's not do that. Okay. And there's like this just back and forth, like wasted APM, wasted army movements. It's just a waste of time. So instead, as soon as you get to that area, you've just got to have it as like this set thing you do. You're just like spread shit out. And then if you want to micro it, if you're like, okay, I'm going to go back and macro. So I'm like back at home macroing, and I'm like, oh shit, there's stuff coming on the minimap. I will press 1 and I'll press T for stim. And that's all I'll do. I won't do anything else.
And just let them run in.
Just let them run in. If I've got the APM, if I've got the attention, if I'm not too distracted, then I'll also double tap 1 to zoom to my army. And I will not using my hotkey. I will only box click. I'll be like, oh, there's a lot of Banelings coming to this big clump of Marines. Let's spread them out. You know, try to do micro if you can, but most people hurt more than they help if they panic micro. So you've got to try and have this set up as a system so that you don't panic micro, because your first push in that second game as well. Oh, dude. Unfortunately, you left your tank at home, and your second tank came out just after you left. If you had 2 tanks and your Marines were split, it would have been amazing. But you kind of got there, moved forward, moved back, kind of, and then you stimmed, but your splits were quite lackluster. I could tell you were, panicking and not as practiced with it, right?
Yeah.
But you had enough units. Like, you would have, if you had the tanks there, it would have been game over. You would have cleaned up that force, kept the position, your reinforce would have come, and it's game over. Even without the tanks, you would have traded really well if you were better split. So just try to always get in this mindset of doing that, whether it's some siege tanks with you that are spread out as well. But the main thing is just spread your shit out. And on the most basic level, I mean, a lot of people will look at this and be like, oh, okay. And I'll see people doing this. See what I'm doing here, where it's like 2-3 Marines. That's a waste of APM, man.
Yeah.
You gotta focus on what you can do. So normally what I tell people is 2-box click to create a concave. Well, with Marines spread, you probably need more than 2 boxes and clicks, maybe 3 or 4.
Okay.
Look at that though. That took me like a second. It's not pretty, but it's going to actually make them like 1,000 times more effective. So even if you just spread like this, that's actually going to do really well. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to take my ability to control the units away, and we will start again. So I want you to limit yourself to 4 boxes and 4 clicks, and just take your time with it and try to spread out as best you can. So you get 4 boxes, 4 clicks. That's all you get to do. Whenever you're ready, go for it. Awesome. And you can stim, just 1 stim, no attack move. Oh, I guess you haven't. Okay,
I don't have them all selected.
that's cool. But we can see already, they're doing a better job. You know what? I'm going to give myself some more banelings to make this a little bit more brutal. There we go. All right, so once again, 4 boxes, 4 clicks, go.
I think I did 5 clicks on accident. And one
Spread
went
out,
way far.
spread out a little bit far, but still pretty decent, And even though it's not pretty, and we definitely prefer to do, if we've got the time, if we know it's an important push and we're really committing, maybe we'll do 7 or 8 boxes with a big late game army. But often you won't have this many Marines with your 2-base push. And yeah, so one more time, just 4 boxes and clicks. All right. Yeah, everyone wants to do like the what they see Innovation and Beyond doing, where they see the army coming and then they stim.
Yeah.
And then they're like moving their units around individually and shit. It's like, no, you're a human. You are a mere mortal, except that you can't do these things, man. So one more time with the 4 boxes and the 4 clicks. And I think this is such a great exercise just to get you used to being more efficient with your actions as well. Trying to, limit the number of boxes and clicks that you get to use. Yeah. There's still some disgustingly good Baneling hits, but it definitely increases your efficiency a hell of a lot. So that's really cool. Now, when you're pushing, let's say you probably want to start out with siege tank pushes when you're doing this 2-base push. I think that'll be the most effective up to a pretty high skill level. People suck at dealing with siege tanks because then, they're really long range. They're really good for just setting up on the edge of creep and like steadily moving forward, right? And they tilt the shit out of people. So do you normally put your siege tanks on a different hotkey to your army? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So yeah, when you do that, just make sure you siege them up as well. So just set up a nice pre-spread. You can use however many clicks you want here. Don't worry too much about being super APM efficient, but just set your army up. Spread the Marines out with 4 or 5 boxes and clicks, and all right. Now let's imagine you're like, okay, I think we're going to fight here. Use a few more boxes and clicks. Spread those Marines out a little bit more. Yeah. Right. Now, in terms of formation, normally I would like to have at least my front siege tank or 2 kind of in line with my front Marines. Sometimes you'll poke forward with a small squad of Marines in front of that to kind of try and bait the Zerg to attack into you. But otherwise, you do usually want to have your Widow Mines and your siege tanks actually quite close to the front line. Now, you can always have reserve ones, but it's very nice to have some splash damage up front so that they get a good chance to start raining down on your opponent, right? Otherwise, because your Marines are quite far in front here, it might not work as well. Either way, don't worry about it. I'm just going to A-move. You can stim. Don't actually command your units other than a stim. We can see that still works out pretty damn well for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now try it again, but have at least one or two of those siege tanks a little bit closer to the front lines. Especially with Widow Mines, for some reason, people put siege tanks too far back sometimes, like all of their tanks too far back, and it's the opposite with Widow Mines. People put them too far forward. You might be different, not everyone's the same, but this is just a pattern I've noticed. People like to put their Widow Mines in front of their army, and the problem there is look at what happens when I tell my guys to A move. I'm not going to let them finish, but look at what's in front. There's like a couple Zerglings spread in front.
Yeah.
You got your Widow Mines in front of your army, they're going to waste their shots on those Zerglings. But if you've got your Widow Mines in line underneath your Marines in the front line, then the Marines will gun down those front Zerglings, and they will keep changing targets until the slower Banelings and the bigger ball of Zerg units come in. And that's where your Widow Mines get their value. So that's something which is important to remember as well. All right, so once again, let's see how this works out. Just stim. Not too bad. And this is something where, as time goes on, you can get more and more accurate with these splits. You can quickly do 7 or 8 boxes every time you've got an army this big. You know, there's so many different ways you can do this. So this time, now let's do the fancier micro. The micro which at first I was really trying to drill you away from. But you know what? As time goes on, we all do want to do a little bit of active micro. But not using our entire hotkey. Remember, not A moving, but simply boxing sections of clumped up Marines that are near the fighting and spreading them backwards a little bit more.
Okay.
So once you've got get your spread going, get your army nice and set up, tell me when you're ready. And then once I come in, I want you to actively micro those Marines a little bit more.
Okay. I'm ready.
So remember the active micro, the reactive micro here, it's only boxing and clicking. Do not use your hotkey. I'd love you to hotkey all your Marines on 1, all your tanks on 2, so it's the same situation. So if some terrible instinct kicks in and you grab your number 1 to try and run Marines away, you get punished for it. But we'll see how it goes. All right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, not bad. That was decent. It could have been a little better, but not bad.
Yeah.
And this is it. That's hard micro. That's your bonus points micro. That's like what you do later on. From the macro I saw from you, like I said, like, you know, okay, keep in mind, this is what happens when you do some coaching with me. I focus you really hard on 1 or 2 things and you get really good at it. So don't let it go to your head. But like I was saying before, your micro is really good. Your macro is really good, sorry. When you had that tight focused, I'm going to do a little bit of pressure with the medevacs. I'm going to do the 2 base build. You played like a diamond player. And that's really cool. But
yeah, that is cool.
now you've got the other parts of your game you've got to pull up. So as you focus on one part, you know, there's always going to be a new hole in your play. I want you to feel invigorated. I want you to feel friggin' good about yourself, knowing you've got that compliment. You know you've really improved on one side of the game, and now we've got to improve on the other. So I think that's most of the key micro points for now.
Okay.
It's a little bit different in each matchup. Against Terran and Protoss, it's nice to spread your units out a little bit. Just in you only need 1 or 2 boxes, and just so your units aren't all in a ball, just so they form a battle line faster. But there's not as much spreading unless it gets to really late game and you're dealing with masses of tanks and masses of storm or disruptors. But the way I want you to play at the moment, you're probably going to be avoiding those situations for the most part because you're really trying to clean early game, push on 2 base, kill opponent, and that should win. So awesome. So let's hop out of this game. Add some of those guys to friends if they're still around. Maybe play some games. There are like 1,000 little nitpicking notes from that first game especially, and I actually don't think it's too important for you to read them. If you want, wait until tomorrow. Watch the replay of the first and second game. Read through the notes. Look at the differences, and that can help you absorb it all. But for now, I think you already know what to focus on. Work on that micro. When you do get your push going, really focus on that micro, even to the detriment of your macro a little bit. Start prioritizing, because the whole early game, you focus on your pressure for maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That's it. You pick up, go home with those medevacs, right? But once you do your big push, you're all in. That's your focus. Even if you miss macro at home, bam, that's fine. Just all focus on the push. And this is really going to force you to stick early game macro, develop your micro, And from there, in a few weeks, we can take it in all manner of directions based on how things go. So awesome, man. Good coaching session.
Awesome. Yeah, man, for sure. Thank you very much.
I think that should really help you out. Anything in the notes that doesn't make sense or anything you want clarification on, just shoot me an email and it should be
Cool.
sick.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jared.
Awesome. All right, have a good night, man. I'll catch you
Yeah,
later.
you too, man. All right,
See you later, man. Tries to find hang up button. Oh, he found it. There we go. Oh, I know why it was so quiet in game. I turned it down, but Skype goes and mutes the other programs because it's a piece. I mean, it's a clever tool. I just hate Skype. I have an irrational hatred of this application, guys. An irrational hatred. For you guys watching the VOD, hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully this helped out your Terran play. I think it's really cool because we focused on refinement of macro and refinement of micro. It's a very like clean coaching session. Awesome. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you guys next time.